Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from the Nerd Chronicles here, Christian speaking. And I want to actually just tell y'all some after actually what I've learned after actually making some makeshift improvements on both the computers that I mainly have. And my main lesson is basically this. Video editing is literally no joke at all. Just when you think things actually run smooth when you first time go around, there's like a lot of hidden moving parts and a lot of details that I haven't seen at the time that I'm literally waking up now just actually to make sure I actually get everything better developed, just actually get like some better quality when it comes to my video presentations and content creations, literally the whole jazz. It is literally no joke. Now around a few months ago, I was doing some editing, basically with like the Mac, and I was doing editing my laptops, basically utilizing Movavi services, as well as the Final Cut Pro, which I started using earlier this year. And prior to that, with the Final Cut Pro, I've mainly been using Movavi as a gem. And basically, when I was doing a lot of screen recording, like my camera and the frames that were going through, with like the times as it was recording, wasn't able to pick everything up in a crisp manner due to the fact that my RAM was very low. I was operating off of 4 gig RAM on a laptop and 8 gigs of RAM on a iMac at the time, which, basically I've now upgraded and actually upgraded on both the RAM as well as the storage, and I'll definitely discuss that a little bit more shortly. But with that, right, they've been slugged. They haven't been... The visuals weren't really as crisp as I literally wanted them to be, and my MacBook Pro is literally dealing with frequent kernel panics all the way around, frequently when dealing with coding as well as recording, and due to the fact that the hard drive is really almost nearly getting full, and NTFS not come by, the hard drive ended up getting corrupted. Whenever I actually wanted to upgrade the iMac and everything else, it all of a sudden has these sudden reboots all of a sudden unexpectedly every single time, which is literally has been extremely frustrating. So my temporary solution at the time was to just get like another PC that's more of like a video edit, has video editing compatibility. So I had to try to find one based on the article, get one that's like about 16 gigs minimum just for video editing. And boom. You see me do work with, the TP, basically with the upgrades of the HP model that has 16 gigs worth of RAM that can be upgradable to 64 gigs max. You know what I mean? But 64, when I learned if you do a lot of 64 stuff, 64, when it comes to video editing, is literally overkill unless you're looking to edit a motion picture, right? Unless you're dealing with like big time data that deals with billions upon billions of data points, 64 gigs can be unnecessary, can literally damage the computer if not fully used right. So I basically went with a good sweet spot, which would be 32. And no, about me, I'm actually just watching the game while it goes on as I'm actually recording this video. 32 would mainly be the sweet spot. So I bought my HP desktop that I added on to my collection here. And y'all saw in the videos I had to actually did a little bit of like a mini build, upgrading the RAM, adding another hard drive actually to like the whole collection and everything else as like a good additional insurance hard drive to actually ease some pressure off the main one. It was actually getting real good, and the benchmarks have literally been superb. That literally bought me time. I was able to actually do a couple videos and actually do a lot of screen recordings, and everything was literally smooth, which is a blessing. I was able to code smooth as well. I'm really, really fortunate for that. Now, I had to actually deal with the situation with the iMac here. It was a 2019 21.5 inch iMac. I had to actually do a lot of research to see which SSDs are actually suited for like this Mac to actually upgrade, which hard drives are suited for them, how much does it cost, because the build, if it's a professional build, it can be done probably in a good half a day. If it's like basically like an amateur build, the Apple Care would literally be null and void. So that's why I literally have to bring it into like an Apple Wi-Fi service provider that can literally handle these types of upgrades. And I can tell you as of now that I have successfully I've successfully upgraded my 32 gigs RAM and I got my 2 terabyte SSD fully installed onto my 2019 21.5 inch iMac, and everything has literally been running smoothly down to the T, and I am literally forever grateful for it. Everything is smooth, no sudden hiccups, no kernel panics, nothing whatsoever. I can literally edit things on Final Cut Pro very, very smoothly in regards to all of this, which I'm very, very, very grateful. Can't even forget that at all. Let's go start comparing the benchmarks, and actually I'm gonna definitely compare those benchmarks mainly at the end, so they can actually see how well it mainly runs on memory, how well it actually deals with downloads. But it's gonna be like much crisper content literally coming up on this channel, which is actually a huge plus. It's a huge blessing. And what I mainly learned from this whole ordeal is that the minimum gigs of RAM that's actually needed for video editing just to present your videos would be 16 gigs if you want to focus on 1080p, and 32 gigs if you want to deal with like around 4K and up, right? Because if you actually try to actually record, your content and actually post it up in there, you're going to be sitting up there for hours. If you have like a regular 8 gig worth of RAM or just some regular smegma computer that's actually mainly about, but has like a very low amount of RAM and a very small hard drive, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to actually store a lot of your information down, because you would have to actually store it in and actually quickly transfer it to like a strong hard drive to make sure everything is safe, so you'll be able to have the stuff there to post it up either on YouTube or either on Rumble. With a 16 gig worth of RAM or unified memory, or 32 gigs worth of RAM and unified memory, your processing, your editing would literally be much smoother, especially when it comes to 4K or 1080p. You ain't gotta be worried about wasting time and having additional stacks and everything just because, the computer is actually getting overheated and actually doing too much work due to the fact that the memory on the RAM is literally almost full, and you're literally wasting so much time that you literally could use to literally do something else. So let's go deal with the benchmark comparisons and what we're dealing with when it comes with, the HP PC as well as the current Mac. All right, let's go to the HP benchmark that we see here. As I'm recording this clip here, I wanted to actually take a look at the comparison with the memory that's actually been shown, as well as the time that's running with the screen recording. Notice through the pixels and everything that you see here through frame by frame availability, you're seeing the memory slowly gets itself used up, and basically because it's the computer, the HP basically is actually running on a 32 gig RAM. Basically, some of the stuff that's there, the one on the left that's shaded is in use, and the one on the blank is currently not in use, but you're able to see like the memory consumption and the memory composition, basically like whenever like the screen recorder actually is mainly run out of a 32 gig hard drive. So we know it's about 11 gigs there, and then you have about 19 gigs available. You're seeing like basically the 32 gig RAM currently at work, literally trying to actually smooth everything out and everything being at like a very, very, very fast pace, which is literally wonderful to see, ladies and gentlemen. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are on my iMac now, okay, and it's very new. It's just like a whole new, brand new computer. Oh God, you have no idea how I'm really feeling right now. How to actually utilize this bad boy now. It's gonna be very, 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 very fun over the next few months. I have my NTFS here that can mainly transfer this little thing over here, the thingamajig that you have with the Windows and the external. That's meant to actually transfer files safely between a Windows X hard drive down to the Mac. I'm very fortunate for that. And then we got the Clean My Mac that shows everything with the memory that you see here. And this memory that we have is basically the memory that's there. This is a 32 gig. If we were able to click everything that's mainly have with the statistics that's mainly there, 18 gigs, almost 19 gigabytes of 32 gigabytes available. A wonderful feeling, huge upgrade, It is a blessing I brought down to the shop to actually prolong this baby here. Because I know the newer Macs, I'm able to actually get away with actually doing a lot of Final Cut Pro now on this Mac and actually make this whole software much more efficient. Because the current iMacs that they have today, all the iMacs they have are literally silicon based, and the Macs that you mainly go is literally 24 gigs, and you have to literally get it from the shop. It's not upgradable. None of the Macs nor the hard drives are literally upgradable for you to buy. They're meant to be more so like home office computers or some personal computers, but not the types of computers that you mainly would have to deal with for video editing, right? And I'm gonna definitely talk about the whole video editing aspect in another video that we have here. But we finally have it upgraded up to 32 gigabytes. And now the pressure is actually very, very low. That's actually there. It's actually ready to take on a lot more stuff that's actually mainly out. And I'm going to definitely show you basically all my old stuff basically at the end of this video on what's really going on. So we have 10.11 gigs mainly active, 3.23 gigabytes wired, 1.239 megabytes, membrane. It's able to actually handle the pressure of actually exporting videos, doing a lot of code, having like a bunch of smooth streamlining with like the mouse, everything else that you see here. I can actually scribble really, really fast. The frames keep going. The hard drive, on the other end, we actually upgraded the hard drive as well. It's now a solid state drive, which much of the health is actually in good condition. Sorry, I had like a gnat coming by, literally come right by my face. My apologies. But drive's in very good condition. It's definitely brand new. You can definitely do the capacity where you're actually trying to seam and actually translate some of the Dropbox stuff, which I think is really unnecessary. But this gig right here that actually took up the majority of the hard drive that we see is stemming from Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro needs this types of gigs, right, to make sure everything runs smoothly, so that whenever you import some and you actually drop clips, they're able to actually save all the clips that's mainly there, so that whenever you go off, basically Final Cut Pro automatically saves the work that you have and requires this level of hard drive and this level of space to mainly keep itself going in order for the computer mainly run smoothly. That's why everything is mainly in good condition. So I'm going to definitely show you my hard drives and then these little 2 gigabit 6 that has been removed from this computer literally down the line right about now. Alright, y'all. So this here that you see below, this right here is my old RAM sticks that were actually stock from the 2019 21.5 inch iMac. That's where they actually removed and actually did the upgrade. And this right here that you see is the old hard drive here. If I'm able to do a little quick look in, we slip it out and we get a little bit of a pull. Let me try to see if it actually comes out. This right here that you see here is the old hard drive that was really stuck up in the iMac. That was definitely pre-built and up in stock. Old ports and all, old disc and all, with the fan and everything else, too much pressure on the Mac because it almost came full. This right here is the main cause of the kernel panics that you mainly see in your iPad, so why your iMac at the time mainly has all these frequent restarts and everything else and all the buzzes, all that heat and all the sudden reboots. This right here is why. And that's why they had the old silicon iMac come by that's actually ingrained in a lot of these computers now. In the first place, number one, to actually prevent stuff like this from happening. But on the flip side, you're no longer able to upgrade those computers. And it's going to be a money rack move forward all the way down the process. And I'm going to definitely discuss with that in a future video when it comes to then like which type of Macs to mainly buy when it comes to stuff that's actually performance space. So I'm living the opinion based on learning experiences. Christian Paul from Nerd Chronicles is signing out. Deuces.